Alright guys, so here is part 2 of my aluminum safety razor case. So I kind of lied a little. I didn't lie really, but I'm not quite sure any other way to do this. So what I'm going to do is I got my everything marked out here, and I'll see if you can take a look. See, so those are all my measurements for the thick part, my bottom part, and these measurements are just based on my actual piece and a little bit of measuring on the parts that I'm going to put in it. This is basically a really simplified version. This is a reference so I know when I'm cutting where to cut. And then I also laid out on here, I don't have any die, but I put some marker on there and I put some lines to kind of let me know, give me a guideline of where I'm going. Where I'm at now is I want to be cutting with my metal shaper this way. I'm going to be taking a hunk out of the back end here, and then I'm going to be making a lot of my cuts in here and try and hog out a lot of that material. Of course I have it set up in my mill right now. I could do it all really quickly in my mill, but that's no fun. Let's do it on a shaper. So the dilemma that I was trying to figure out was, well, I'm not sure how far you can run forward, how far of a blind, if you can run the cutter up to material without having some space there for it to clear the chip. And then on the back end I need to be able to let that cutter come back. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to drill a hole down. My thickness of this guy is 646 thousandths, so I'm going to go down 575 thousandths, and I got it marked out on my, can't see here, but I got it marked out on my quill so that I know I don't go deeper than I need to. So I'm going to drill a hole here, crank over, drill a hole here, and then we're going to, I don't know, I might go up another size bigger, but this is a 1/4 inch mill, and I'm going to mill some slots in this way so I have room for my cutter to work in there. So I'm going to just make a quick cut here, lock my quill. I'm making sure I'm not so when you set your depth, be sure to set the, I'm going to clear this off here quick. Be sure to set your depth off the point of the drill bit and not, the edge of it, which I'm not going to go over that stuff here now, but feel like I'm cutting a long ways. It's a thick piece of material. There we go, there's the bottom. So I'm going to do that on my other end here, and then so we're going to just crank over. I'm going to drill this other hole, and then we'll set up the mill here to mill some slots out. So hang tight. Alright, I have it set up here again, and I ended up going with the 3/8 inch end mill here, and I don't have my WD-40 or cutting fluid here, so I got some cutting oil, and long story short. However, what I'm going to do here now is I'm just going to plunge straight down and over, and I reset my depth, and my depth stop to 575 thousandths again for this guy. So I'm just going to make a cut down and then a cut across, and what that will hopefully allow me is room for that cutter to reset on the backstroke. One thing I forgot to mention is this line here in the middle, that marker line right there. That's going to be, I'm going to leave a bar in there to separate the handle from the head and the blade storage in this case. So there's going to be a bar in there, but on the ends here I'm just going to cut straight across. It's not going to matter there much, so I'll crank it up here, cut a little, and then we'll show you when I'm all done. And of course my cuts nice and easy, but my 3/8 inch end mill here is not the greatest. So I'm just trying to, going up and down, cutting the chip off, just trying to make, so I don't have big, huge, you know, long chips. And then once I get down to the bottom here, we'll be able to go sideways. So remember, when you're using an end mill like this, I'm only cutting maybe, you know, 1/8 of an inch on each side outside of the hole that I pre-drilled. So my flutes are actually cutting and not the center of the end mill here. Almost there. Double check, make sure we're looking good on the inside there. There we go. So now I'm at depth and now I can start feeding in. And I usually have a vacuum or something going here. Let me grab my... kind of see what I'm doing here. So it's pretty boring watching me mill on this little guy here. It doesn't, you know, can't really see much while I'm doing this here, so we're just gonna, I'll show you, I'm gonna cut this side and then I'll cut the back side and then I'll show you what it looks like when we're all done. Alright, back to this guy. Just want to show you, I got a flatter bit stuck in there. I had a angled one before, but I got this guy set up in there. I got it set on a couple parallels so it's up a little higher, and what I had to do is I had to adjust the stroke on this guy so it exactly stopped. Here, I'll turn the angle here so you can see a little better. Zoom in for you guys. Alright, you should be able to see pretty good there now. So I stopped just short of the end of my milling slot there. So that'll allow it to room to move, and then on my backstroke I'm probably, I don't know, a couple hundred thousandths in front of the back side of my slot here. So this should allow me, I mean, I'm going to start in a little bit towards the middle and then I'll work my way over. And then remember, I got my 150,000 slot here that I got to leave. So if we take a look at my drawing again, so I got it set up. This is the back of the piece, like I got it set up now. Here's the back. This is going to get notched out, this piece right here, for my cover. And here are my spots where I milled out. That's what these little notches are. Here's my bar that I'm going to leave in here. So what my goal is now is to start hogging this material out, all this stuff in here and all this stuff in here, down to about where my where the bottom, I'm gonna leave about what was it, 75 or 100,000 or 75 or 80 thousandths thickness on the bottom of this guy. So that'll clean up nice. So we'll get this all cleaned up. We'll start hogging some material out here, and then I'm gonna put, what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put dovetails in the side here, and then my cover is just gonna be dovetailed into this. We'll do that later, but first things first, I gotta start hogging material out. I could run my machine a little faster here, but I'm choosing to run it slower just because I want to make sure that I'm getting everything right the way I want it and not make any mistakes. Let's see. So what I'm going to do first off is I backed out because I got radiused edges out here. So I'm going to ever so slowly start to feed down on my cutter, and I'm just going to make sure that once I start cutting it actually works the way I want it to work. I'm still feeding down. There we go. Alright. So now I can start cutting one way or the other. So now I'm cutting, my cutter is moving that way and my table is moving to the right here, so I'm only going to cut so much. I'm getting some nice flat chips on that guy. My cutter, my bit is nice and sharp. So that's what this is going to be pretty much for the next, who knows, hour. Just slicing away. You can see it's leaving a really nice finish on there because I got a nice sharp flat bit in there. I'm going to stop it here in a second. I don't want to go too far. So there we go. So it's just sitting there cutting nothing right now. So I'm going to work back and forth here a little bit, and hopefully you guys can see what's going on there, but I'll start cutting here a little bit, and I still got to mark out my middle bar here, but I'll cut out a little more, and then I'll stop and I'll show you guys kind of where I'm at. So there we go, nice finish on there. A little tiny bit of chatter when I started there, but that's because I was feeding in and it was such a flat piece. So I got this, it's a flat cut, but it's at a little bit of an angle, so I'm not cutting flat all at once, but it's leaving a nice finish on there. So, like I said, I'll make mark out my bar here, and then I'll show you after I've hogged out a little material here. Here's a little progress I've gotten. I haven't gotten very far. I've been taking some really light cuts. Sorry for the. However, one thing I might have to mention here is, you know, I got a radius at the end of my mills here, so I've been cutting, and I redid my blade on my bit, so I got, I don't know, you probably can't see it too well, but it's a cutting edge on this side and then a cutting edge on this side. You can see a little V in the middle there, so I got two edges cutting and then they're both cutting at the same time. However, let's focus in on this guy. This guy right here, here's what happens when you don't get enough relief on your, so you can stroke. So I got a little ramp right there. That's basically, I was able to, the piece was able to come up and then come back down, but when it got back to this point right here, it wasn't able to come back all the way, so when it started to cut, it started cutting a little ramp right here. So this is the very edge of my piece right here. What I'm probably going to have to end up doing is putting this back in my mill, and I'll probably have to make a little relief cut with my mill here. I'm sure there's a way to do it with this guy, but I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert with these things, so we'll get a little relief cut here, and then I might take my little, like an A 3/16 mill and come back on this side and try to do it over here too. So that's just a little update, something I thought I'd mention, and then slow process, but we're getting there. Alright, so you should be able to see here I got it cutting, but it's slow going. Taking forever. You probably can't see there, but I got these two little cutting bits going, but so I did make a relief cut back here, if you can see, a relief cut here, and then on the opposite side for that, so I can be able to get in there. So I've been cutting for quite a while. I'm not taking very deep cuts, but I'm probably, I don't know, maybe 3/16 deep. So I gotta go triple that yet. And I'm getting close to the edge of my cut here, but so it's going okay, but it's slow going. Metal shaper, they're kind of cool, but they're super slow. So I'm just stopping my feed right when I get close to where I want to be, and then I'm just feeding it in by hand about to the edge. Hopefully I'm not in your picture there, but and you can set up a I'm gonna stop it right there. You can set up one last cut here. You can set up a micrometer on the edge of the table here, but I'm just doing it by eye. This isn't, I mean, this is a relatively precise piece here, but I'm going to, this particular part right here isn't very precise, so there we go. I'll keep cutting out, and I'll probably, it's late tonight, so I'll probably pick this up again tomorrow, and we'll continue with part 2 here. So hang tight. Been cutting for what seems like days now. I think we're day 53 or 54. I don't know. Been cutting forever, not getting anywhere. 6 gallons of oil, 300 kilowatts of power, and maybe a half an inch. I fear the end may never come. I don't know. Hey guys. So this is the second. Zoom my face out so you can kind of not really see me. I'll unplug this because we're not doing anything. So I have been cutting for a while now. It's taken quite a while, and I'm taking just super light cuts, maybe 20, 30 thousandths. Not a lot. And I do have my bit turned a little bit. And I cut a little bit on this side, and I'm almost down. I got maybe, I don't know, 1/8 of an inch on this side, and probably a good ½ inch on this side yet to go. But just wanted to show you, I'm getting there, slowly but surely. Now I see why these things are kind of tucked away in the corner and end up being dust collectors a lot of the time. Kinda funny. But I'm into it this far, so let's keep going. Well, there we go. I got pretty much most of it hogged out, and I got it fairly smooth. I did make one fatal error. When I did this, came back and did the second relief cut, I ended up inching, or thousandths of an inch, in my mill down a little too deep, so now I got a little, I don't know, it's probably 5 thousandths or so lip there, and I'm flush on this side and everything was level, so I don't know, I might just lay a piece of felt in the bottom of that thing and cover that up. That's what I used to do construction. That's what everybody else did. The framers would get covered up by the sheetrock, and the sheetrock would get covered up by the mudders, and the mudders would get covered up by the paint, so so on and so forth. What I got set up now here is, I told you guys I'm going to do a relief cut over here, and this is going to be where my cover is going to slide in. I'm going to notch this out. My top plate over here is, here's my top plate. This is 250 thousandths, so it's a 1/4 inch. It's pretty close there, but so I'm going to half that. I'm going to take a notch out of the back of my plate here and a notch out of here, and it's only going to be, you know, a 1/4 inch in here. I got a little line there. I don't know if you can see it, but that's going to be, I'm hoping, if I'm thinking right, I don't know if I'm thinking right. I might have to rethink this. I guess my idea is, if you can see my line there, my battery's about to die here, but my line on my plate here, that's going to be the bottom of my dovetail, so like 125 thousandths of my cover is going to stick above this. I will notch this guy out, and then that'll probably be the end of the video too, because it's getting a little lengthy. So thanks for watching again, guys, and I'll continue this with part 3, and I might have 2 or 3. This might be a 5-part dealio, so we'll see. It's all good. So once again, thanks for watching. If you guys have not already, subscribe. Check out my channel, my other videos. Like, comment, shoot me a message if you have any questions. So till next time, stay safe on your machines, and I will see you next time. Thank you.